Alright, here I am with my first video, watercolor. Guess it's take one. You see how much I've already done. This is something I started for my class, and just to get comfortable, maybe I want to show you how I paint. I'm trying to work really fast. All you see are the instructor's manicured hands. Do a little more pink. I'm using aqua rose here, mixed with permanent rose. And then green, I like to use a combination of, let me get this in here, phthalo green, which is a very dark staining color, and burnt sienna. So when you mix them together, you get a really nice mossy color. Very natural, and I like to bleed the pink inside it too. Okay, and all this. Oh, and let me show you what I'm using to paint with. Just have a couple of photos from White Flower Farm catalog and this one. And you can see I'm not copying anything exactly. These are another photographer's work. And just combining elements that I like and using it as inspiration. Letting everything bleed, adding brown to soften. This, if you just use phthalo green on its own, it looks very unnatural, but when you mix it with other colors, I like the way that bled right there. Looks really pretty. I'm coming in with some dark green again. This time I'm mixing with, let's see if I can, this is quinacridone gold, which is one of my favorite colors. Now what I like to do while that's still wet, take some pink and put it right at the top so that it bleeds into that stem. So there's not like, it doesn't look like you just cut it out and pasted it on. And right now I'm going for a much darker pink. This should be, this one over here I want light, and this one I want dark, so there's lots of contrast. And this has had a chance to dry. Now when you're painting with watercolor, you can't mix white with red to get pink, so you really have to buy pinks. There's a couple of pinks you can use. Right now I'm enjoying aqua rose, and I think it's permanent rose on here, but it could just as easily be quinacridone rose or rose madder, and they're all pretty similar. So if you have one, there's really no need to rush out and buy the other one. Just use what you have. It's just you'll find you won't be able to get pink just by using red. See, that makes a really nice, rich pink. Okay, and next to that flower, I kind of want to have white. So I have to leave the white of the paper and mix something that's going to be a little more gray. So I want pink in my gray mixture. So I am going to start with a little bit of that pink and make sure you can watch me mix the colors. I'm going to use cobalt blue with that. That's kind of purpley. And then I think I'm going to use some burnt sienna. Now it's brown again. But if I keep adding, well, you can see even on my tray how that's turning gray here. And that's really the color I want. So just get some more blue. Okay. All right, back to the painting. So I want to use this gray just in the shadow areas here. And okay. So we want to use some tissues just to blot that. I don't want it to get too dark, but I am trying to get, like if you look at my reference photo, let's see if you can see that without it being too much glare, but I want to get some of the undersides of, or if you look at this one, the undersides of petals when it's in shadow. So just soften that a little bit. Lighten that up. And I'm really only using my photograph kind of as inspiration and to help me understand what, just as a reminder of what things look like in nature, but I'm not really trying to copy it exactly. That's never my goal. I'm always looking to paint what I want it to be. That's what I really feel the artist's job is to paint what you want it to be, and not necessarily what don't make the photograph the artist. You're the artist. But even when you're painting from nature, you still have to edit. So I'm mixing up another batch of burnt sienna and phthalo green. It gives a nice rich dark color here, and I like doing adjacent colors so that you'll see now it's going to bleed right into that gray, which I want it to do. Okay, good. In fact, I want to do more. I don't think I do. I'm going to maybe do over here. Do one right, more darkness right here near this bud. Okay, and right here. Now this is dry, so I'm going to just have to fake it and just use some clear water just to kind of carry that color in here without it being too harsh looking. Yeah, and see, I really like the way this bleeding is happening over here. All right, I have a little unresolved area. I'm trying to decide what I had in mind here. I think that's supposed to be a pink petal, so let me just put that in now. There we go, that looks better. And maybe there's a little extra darkness here and here. Okay, good. All right, moving on. So sometimes when you have these petals, you need to have like a little sun hitting it, so I use a little yellow ochre. Okay, pretty. Pretty. You don't want it to look dirty, so just blot that. And in the middle, you tend to see in these white flowers, you can kind of see where they have the pollen, and that just makes that whole blossom come to life. And the same thing over here. Like right in the middle, it's kind of like a pollen-y color. See if I want to have that anywhere else. Okay, no. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the bud. There we go. Here's this bud. So pretty. And a little bit of pink. Pretty. Okay, now I might want a little, so I'm just using the tissue just to blot it, bring out a little bit of a white highlight there. Maybe I even want a little more white highlight over here. Okay, let's see. Do some of those green flowers on this side. So this I don't want quite as dark as this green over here. So instead of burnt sienna, I'm going to use quinacridone gold in my green. All right, that's pretty. Here, make that one darker. Okay, but I want to have some bleeding going on from this one to here. Pretty. Pretty. My husband makes fun of me because he sometimes he'll hear me talking to myself when I'm in my studio. He says, "Do you do that all day long?" I'm like, yeah. And making this video is kind of like talking to yourself. It's a little bit weird. It's a little easier when I have a class because I'm not talking to myself. I know there's somebody actually listening. Oh, right now I'm using my fingernail to scratch. That is a great technique. You see that? And that's too wet now, but anywhere that it's still wet, you can scratch like little veins into the leaves. So pretty. Okay. And I'm going to do a little bit of background here. I do want some of it to bleed a little bit. I don't like my edges everywhere to be harsh. What's nice with paintings is when you have unless you're working very abstractly and cubist, to have a combination of hard and soft edges. So the soft edges are where you're going to have these bleeding happening, and the hard edges would be like over, you see that right over here, that's the hard edge. And then the soft edge is where you have a little more bleeding. And I can encourage that by just going like this and putting a little bit of green into that yellow background. Right now I'm using yellow ochre and raw sienna. I was worried I didn't have the recording on. It's on. Okay, now I think I want a light pink flower up here. So I'm just going to use my Opera Rose, very light, kind of like I did over here on that one. Use a lot of water. I don't care if I drip. See, these I splattered on purpose. Do that. And then I come in here with the dark and let that bleed. Woo! It's fun. Okay, and then for contrast, I think right next to it, I'm going to have a very dark pink flower. This one's going to be almost red. But just so it doesn't read as red, I'm going to stick some more Opera Rose into it. It'll read more as pink. Okay, beautiful. And I think I want to have some dark petals up here above the white one, just to add some contrast. Okay. And I don't care if this bleeds now into the green. I'm going to put a little dark green in between this flower, which I want to stand out. So here's the hard edge where the white flower meets the green, and the soft edge where the green meets the pink petal. So that's kind of blurry. And that's the way you want it to be. When you take a picture, you have focus in your center of interest, and it's a little more diffused on the outside. So you don't need to have everything perfectly in focus, or it's going to look kind of strange. Okay, I'm going to make this a very focused flower. Well, not very focused, but very defined. And again, I don't mind if some of that, not even though I not mind, but I like it, some of that pink bleeds in here. I'm going to leave this blank for now. I don't think I want to use the yellow color up there. I think I'm going to use blue or gray. Okay, and I'm going to come in with one more pink up here. I don't normally paint this way. I'm trying to do it so that you can see what I'm doing without there being shadows. Okay, good. Let's see. This one I'm going to probably make white. I'm going to do this bud now. I'm going to make this very light. Dab that. And the other side I'm going to come in with green. And this green I have, I'm actually trying to use it up. It's a green I got. It's a pre-mixed green. I think it's called Vert Terre. It's right here. Okay, but I think that'll look good here. But you don't have to use that one. You can keep using the same greens. The only one that green I really don't care for, the pre-mixed, is sap green. I feel that one looks a bit fake. Okay. Now over here, let's see. Ah, that looks so pretty. Okay, now with the glass, I'm not exactly going to paint what I see in the photo because I want to have that impression of water, and you don't really have that in the photo I have. So like I said, you are the artist. You paint what you want it to be, not always what you see. This is your fantasy. And I just love this turquoise color. Now, the thing about adding a color that's nowhere else is it tends to create disharmony. So an easy trick that I do is I'll just splatter it into the background and maybe even stick some of that blue color into my leaves. I don't want that dot there. Okay. And maybe the lightest bit of that blue, and by the way, this is a cobalt turquoise, into some of these shadow areas of my white flower. So it just helps create harmony if you repeat colors. So maybe a little shadow areas of the pink flowers are going to have some of this blue in it. Not too much. I don't like to use too much blue with the shadows. I just like to use a darker version of the color, the local color. Okay. Pretty. Okay. Now, boom. Let's work on these white flowers here. I'm looking at this. I feel I need to add. Okay, I decided I just wanted to add, I only have 2 buds, and I don't like to have even numbers of things, and I really feel that I could add 1 more bud in this area. So you get to watch me draw, because you didn't get to watch me draw this. And that's all there is to that, and maybe I'll add the stem too. Just a very simple shape. You could copy the way I did that exactly. Okay, really pretty. And notice how I put the pink right where I'm even going to add my green. Let that bleed. Easy. Easy peasy. So now I have another bud. And the stem I'm going to do a little darker, and I'm going to do it now because I want all that to bleed together. So you see how that bleeds right up in there. And what happened to my tissue? Nah, I'm gonna do the flowers. All right, so the flowers are white, but I want these over here not to get quite as dark as I got this one. I want this to be more like a yellowish color. Very pale. And I do want it to read as white though, so I just gotta keep blotting. Just adding white just to give it a little, I mean just adding yellow, not adding any white. The white is just the paper, just adding a little bit. There we go. Pretty, pretty. Just adding yellow here because it just looks so good. Okay, and just a little bit. I should use a bigger brush. Oh, so my brushes, by the way, let's see if you can see this. Can you see this? This is a Da Vinci. I don't know if you can see that at all. Da Vinci Cosmotop. It's not, this is not the Klinsky. I do have one. I think I have to replace it though, because I used it so much. Okay. See how pretty that looks? Okay, and I'm going to use that blue up here too. And this here. Now I don't want this to match exactly, so I'm going to use a little bit of phthalo by itself, just to give the idea of a glass color. Because phthalo green has that glass green color, and I'm probably going to have to add highlights. Okay. Let's see. Some of that shadow coming in underneath this flower. This flower's the bottom at the bottom in shadow. Some of there. Okay. You don't have to get too precious with this. Okay. I'm gonna smush this up so that it looks a little bit too much to me. There. All right, I'm almost done with this. Some green up here. This time I'm doing dark. I'm gonna switch back to my little phthalo green mixed with some burnt sienna. And put that in some of these areas here. And I'm not filling it in. I don't like things that completely fill in. Let's use some blue. I'm loving this. I'm just loving the way this came out. Okay, blot. Put the blue back in here. Put some blue in between some of these flowers. Put some blue here. Blotting. Oh my gosh, so pretty. Okay. Let me decide what else this needs. Not much. Just some additional colors to help harmonize. I'm just putting some of that cobalt blue over here. Cobalt blue here. Okay, and maybe some my yellow, just intensifying colors. Put this up here. Ah, this is so pretty. Okay. All right, I feel this got a little too blue down here and a little undefined, so I'm gonna have to blow dry that. I'm I'm gonna add a little bit of white chalk. So I'm not even sure if I want to turn that other light back on. I think this light is working out by itself better. Okay, so you want to add a little bit of highlighting. Some things come out a little too chalky. You can just use plain water, blend it in. And I am done. Okay. So I might want to put a little, thought I was done, but I'm not done. Okay, a little dark in this area. Look like there's kind of stems down in that vase. Okay. What else do I want to do to this? Put a little bit of green splatters. Alright, the last thing I like to do is I put a mat on it. I don't actually think I have one that fits this one in stock. But you can see how much prettier. There it is. Of course I cut some of it off. I don't know which. I could use this mat if I really wanted to, but I would end up cutting off a lot of my painting. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I'm so happy with that. I'll have to get a mat for this. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and this is my first free video, and I'm looking forward to teaching more videos. Okay, bye.